Welcome to the Know Before You Go Travel Show, where we share all the latest travel tips, tricks, and insights to make your next vacation the best one yet. So sit back, relax, grab a cocktail, and enjoy the show with Penyak Travel's George Penyak and our senior travel consultant, Janet Penyak.
What is up, everybody?
Hey, everyone.
Welcome back to another edition of the Know Before You Go Travel Show, and we've got a show for you today.
Yes, we do.
It is the day before our vacay.
Yes, we are headed to Jamaica tomorrow.
Montego Bay, Jamaica. We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty on what is it going to be like to travel post the new CDC guidelines. And also, we haven't been to Montego Bay in quite some time. But you know what? The day before your vacation feels like the day of your vacation.
Yes, it does, kind of.
Because, what you and I like to do, we like to go to dinner that night. Like, even if we have an early flight, go to dinner, have a few drinks, kind of prepare ourselves.
Yeah, get in vacay mode. For
the adventure. We like to go kick off and just prepare ourselves for the adventure. Bags are packed. You're not going to cook anything at the house. Nothing's good anymore.
Nothing's good anymore.
Nothing's good, but you know what I mean.
Yes, yeah. We usually are left scrambling around, but I do feel like we are at least a little bit more prepared for this trip than when we traveled in November, because we have at least started packing, and it's not a few hours before we leave, so that's good.
Very true. We are packed up for the most part, and bathing suits. I pack very light when we go to tropical destinations.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
You think you pack lighter than me?
Well, I most definitely did when we went to Mexico.
What?
Yes,
that is not true.
Yes, I took my carry-on. I only had my carry-on.
To the people.
I only had my carry-on, and you had the big suitcase, because George likes to bring 5 different pairs of shoes. So.
No, that's not true. Well, here's the thing: guys need to wear the closed-toe shoes sometimes.
Yes.
Which I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish more resorts would be a little more lenient on that policy. But whatever. There's one at Montego Bay that has the closed-toe shoes.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna enjoy that one too.
Yeah, but anyways, we're getting in vacay mode, and we can't wait. And we're actually going to probably shoot a podcast while we're there on site. So we're going to go to Sandals Montego Bay.
Yep.
And we'll do one live and give our kind of thoughts on the updated property. Property's been updated, but before we get into the episode, we got to give a lot of shots. We got some shout outs to give because you guys are incredible. And first of all, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, we would love a subscribe. Just click the subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. And you guys have been reaching out to us. It looks like a lot of people are starting to plan their 2021 travel. Vaccines rolling out. This is really good stuff here. So got a lot of thank yous to give, so bear with me here. Nikki from South Carolina looking for a family vacation. Thank you so much, Nikki. Ryan from Kansas City. Love hearing from our peeps in Kansas. Or Missouri, looking for vacation over Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a very popular time to travel this year. Bonnie, looking for an all-inclusive trip vacation, probably either Jamaica or Mexico. Thank you, Bonnie. Ridge from Texas. Shout out, Ridge. We love our Texas people, too. We love all our people, but Texas we get a lot of love from. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ridge, looking for a Sandals honeymoon. Philip in Hotlanta, looking for Mexico or Cancun. Maria, New Jersey. Shout out, New Jersey. Looking for a honeymoon. Mindy in Houston, looking for a family vacation. Thank you, Mindy. There's Texas again. And then John from Kansas, just looking for a vacation, looking for a getaway. So thank all you guys for reaching out to us. It's the best way to support the show. We're a free service, so if you want more information on anything that you hear on our podcast, you can find all of our contact information in the show notes. We put it in the show notes, as well as we'll just give it to you right now.
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, 1-800-674-3278 is our contact number, or you can slide into our DMs on Facebook or Instagram, or if you go to our website, penyaktravel.com, and click request a quote, it comes directly to me.
Yeah. So, but thank you guys so much. We love you guys so much. It means the world to us. And if you're not traveling or don't want to book a trip with us, a 5-star review would be greatly appreciated too.
Yes, we would most definitely appreciate that.
Okay. Enough about all that. Thank you guys so much. We are moving on to Sandals Montego Bay, and I want to talk a little bit too about Butch Stewart.
Yeah, so the Butch Stewart, Gordon Butch Stewart was his name. He was the founder and chairman of Sandals Resorts, and his very first resort that he ever built was Sandals Montego Bay. So that's the flagship resort. And unfortunately, he passed away at the beginning of January from an illness, and he was 79 years old, but he definitely led the way for all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean.
Absolutely. I mean, he was born in 1941 in Kingston, Jamaica, so he is Caribbean as they come. and he actually had no hotel experience whatsoever when he bought the property, which I believe he bought. I'll have to check this, but I believe he bought from the Jamaican government. I think they actually owned that property before he did, and he actually worked for an appliance company. He sold air conditioning units, and somehow stumbled upon this property here that needed a lot of work. I think it needed $4 to $5 million back then, which even probably feels like $50 million today.
Yeah.
And then the outcome of that, though, someone who had no hotel experience actually pioneered swim up bars, which is really cool. The original one still standing today in Montego Bay.
Yes.
And we're gonna go check that out. We've been there a bunch, and it's really cool because when you go to that swim up bar, it's like nowadays swim up bars are so innovative.
Yes.
And this one's it's
I mean, you can tell it's old school.
It's the original one. We've come a long way, but it's really cool that he kind of innovated that.
Oh, absolutely. Now, and that is one thing, about Montego Bay, Sandals Montego Bay. And if you've been a long time listener to the show, you know that we usually spend more time at the pools whenever we're on or at resorts like this. And this pool at this resort with the swim up bar, it is on the smaller side, but that's because it was the very first one. But the beach at Sandals Montego Bay is amazing.
Yeah, and Butch passed from an undisclosed illness. He apparently had something going on, kept it very private, totally understandable. And but according to Adam Stewart, who is the CEO of Sandals, and
that's his son.
That's his son. According to Adam, he was just as involved as he ever was with the business at his age.
Yeah.
So he continued to work through whatever ailment he had. Up until the day he passed, he was as involved as he's ever been, according to Adam. And so Adam will carry on the legacy. I'm sure whom you've met both Butch and Adam.
Yeah, the last time I actually saw Butch Stewart, or it was the second time I met him, and it was actually at Sandals Montego Bay.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years ago, almost to the day. It was in January of 2019. That was the last time I was there. You were not on that trip with me.
Yeah, and just really cool that you've been fortunate to meet them.
Yeah.
And I think it's very neat timing, not neat timing, but it's very interesting timing that we're going to Montego Bay, the flagship property for Sandals.
Yes.
Here shortly after Butch passes. But I'm confident Adam's going to carry on the legacy. He also had 8 children, one of which did pass in a car accident. But he leaves behind a large family, and he is,
and a lot of resorts.
And he is widely viewed as one of the most successful, if not the most successful, entrepreneur in Caribbean history.
Oh, absolutely. And one really cool thing is, because a lot of these resort chains, throughout the Caribbean, Secrets, which is part of AM Resorts, and just a lot of them throughout are not family owned, and Sandals is still family owned.
Yeah, they stayed family-owned, and they still are today, and I just think it's really, really, really cool to see, you start something very small, which can be a rundown property on the beach, you buy it, you innovate it, and you pretty much change the world of resorts forever. Because a lot of the things that you see at other all-inclusives, it's actually a lot of things that have been emulated from Sandals and from what Butch did.
Yes.
And so it's just really cool to see how he kind of changed the entire resort environment, and all-inclusives are now a very popular thing, probably because of him.
Yeah,
probably because of what he's done and the work he's done, and not to mention that, the amount of people he employed. Anyways, he leaves behind a stunning legacy, and I know Adam's going to carry it on well, and we're excited to continue to go there and enjoy the Sandals brand.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the foundation, too. I mean, there's so many other things that Sandals has done where Butch has started it. I mean, the Sandals Foundation, which gives back to all the local communities, the schools.
Right.
It's just, I mean, we could spend hours here going through it, and it's just it's really sad to hear the passing. I think the entire travel industry kind of mourned.
I was shocked when I didn't even know he was sick, and I woke up the next day and I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was no news on any illness. There was no news that this was expected to come. It really was, I guess you could say, out of the blue.
Yeah.
And devastating news. But then, when someone passes, you look at all the good things that they did in their life, and you remember what an impact that they left. And he's certainly left an impact.
Oh, absolutely. Forever lasting impact on the travel industry.
So we're gonna cheers one up to the legacy of Butch when we're sitting at the first swim up bar in Montego Bay. We leave tomorrow.
Yes.
And we're definitely gonna have one for our guy Butch. So rest in peace, Butch, and I hope Adam carries on that legacy well.
Oh, he already has.
So let's talk a little bit about Montego Bay since we're going.
Yeah, so...
let's start with, what are you excited about? Because we've been you've been a bunch. I've been a lot too. But we have not been in a little while. They've made some changes, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the last time you stayed there, or we stayed there together, that was in 2016. So that was almost 5 years ago.
I think there was still work ongoing, if I remember.
There was, yeah. And the last time I was there was 2 years ago. And we had also been there for a friend's wedding in 2015. And I had visited it in 2013, 2014. So a lot has changed, though, since those times. It's pretty much the entire resort has been renovated over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So all the rooms have a nice refreshed look. There's
they added a restaurant?
Yeah, they added 2 restaurants. There's a couple of rooms that have not been renovated. One of the ones is the least expensive butler category, so that one has not been renovated, just so you know. But all the others have, and they also recently, in the last 2 to 3 years, they added a bunch of swim up rooms, which is awesome because definitely nowadays those room categories are very, very popular. A lot of people like the swim up rooms, and so
they're highly sought after. If you haven't tried one and you like the pool experience, having a swim out room, which explain a little bit what that is for our audience that might not be too familiar. When you say swim out, what do you mean by that?
Yes, so that is a first floor room, and from your patio, you can walk down into a pool.
Yeah, and the pool is usually shared by maybe 3 or 4 to 5 rooms that are on that first level as well. But it feels like your own private pool. And
yes.
You can just walk right out. And we love them. We usually get them we try to get them when we stay places. We got one at Unico, which was
yes.
great. And it's so chill. You just kind of you open up your back porch and you have palm trees everywhere. And then right there, right off your patio, you just tiptoe right in the water.
Well, and a cool thing about Sandals Montego Bay swim up rooms, a lot of them are either beachfront or oceanfront. So a lot of them have nice views from them too. And you'll find those in the club level and butler category rooms.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. So hopefully we get that. We're going to be really excited to see what room level we get. We don't know yet. We got to see what's available when we show up. We're pretty excited about it. And then also too, we're traveling right now. Again, we've traveled, a whole bunch since this pandemic hit. And things change almost by the week around here with the pandemic. So we're going to give you guys also a thorough update on what to expect when traveling during the pandemic, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, right now, if you listen to our last episode, our thoughts on the new CDC requirements that go into effect on January 26th. So we're also going to meet with the resort and just kind of go through, how the whole testing process what it will look like for guests. After January 26th or starting January 26th. So we'll be able to share that as well.
Yeah. And we're definitely going to do some of the, we don't like waiting in lines. Let me tee that up. And so what are some tips that someone traveling to Jamaica or I guess Jamaica might be one of the only islands that has it. I think there's also comparative products in other airports. What are some tips that you have to get through?
Well, so just a couple things right now about Jamaica. You do have to have the negative COVID test within 10 days of your arrival, and that's technically 9 nights. So if you were leaving, let's just say on February 20th, then you would have to take your COVID test on or after February 11th. And then once you're within 5 days of arrival to Jamaica, you have to go on to the visitjamaica.com website, and that's for the tourist board. And then you just have to apply for your travel authorization so you can enter the country. And if you don't have it, they won't let you board your flight here in the U.S. So make sure you do those 2 things. And then, I always suggest, especially now, because a lot of these islands, are requiring a negative COVID test to enter. Well, they're going to check your paperwork. So there's going to be a line. So if you're at the back of the plane, you're going to be the last to check your paperwork, and it's going to take you a little bit longer to get through customs. So
so it might be worth it to pay the extra. I know a lot of airlines right now, they're considered premium seats or a quote upgrade, not first class, but a upgrade in economy to get near the front of the plane.
Yes.
I think right now that there's an added value to that, considering you're not going to wait a tremendously long time to get your paperwork processed.
Yes.
I'm very curious to see, and we're going to report out on this when we're done, is how this airport is handling it, because a lot more and more people are traveling right now. It is absolutely coming back, And
well, it was until the CDC.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like we've been to airports where some are doing a good job. We've been to airports where some are like, okay, this is a little out of control. I'm optimistic because
out of control. I wouldn't say that.
Well, not out of control, but they weren't organized like other airports.
Yeah, that was in Antigua. They were still trying to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It was a little
Jamaica. It's been 7 months since travel resumed there, so I think it should be. I mean, it should be streamlined now.
I would think so too.
Yeah. Now, another thing to help you get through customs and this whole process faster, and I always recommend this no matter, what you do or when you travel, but the Montego Bay Airport has a service called Club Mo Bay, and it is $50 per person for arrival, and then it's $30 per person for departure. So basically, whenever you get off the plane, you go down the ramp before you enter customs, you will see a Club Mo Bay representative, and they'll have a sign with your name on it, and then they will escort you through a separate line for customs, and then help you gather your bags, go through immigration with you, and then there's a Club Mo Bay lounge in the airport while you wait for your transfer over to the resort. Sandals also has a lounge, so I mean this really is not that big of a deal, but there's free drinks, free Wi-Fi, free snacks in there while you wait for your shuttle. And then on the return there is a separate security line, and then the Club Mo Bay lounge in the airport while you wait for your flight home. Definitely recommend. It's highly worth it. Free Wi-Fi, very nice lounge, comfortable seats, free snacks, free drinks, cleaner bathrooms.
I mean, worth every penny.
It's really worth it.
Instead of waiting in the airport to wait in that nice lounge with snacks and drinks, and it just kind of really caps your vacation off well. Worth every penny. I was going to say, it's definitely a nice way to end your vacation, and I absolutely recommend booking it in advance because it does sell out. Yeah, and if you want to travel like a lot of travel agents do, you could do it both ways. It makes... when you're waiting, we've waited in line in customs, and then this is like back when we first traveled, and then we saw the Club Mo Bay people like escorting people past the line, and we were like, "What are they doing? That's special!" Like, I know. I'm stuck in this 2-hour line, and these people are going through this line in 5 minutes, and they're being escorted and all this stuff, and then. Now we never go to Jamaica without it. I don't want to be the person in the line. I want to be the person getting escorted through really quickly. Yes. And then with the cost being so minimal, factor in a few drinks and snacks, it's a no-brainer for me. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Now, back to Sandals Montego Bay, another huge plus. When you are booking, if you're looking at the butler categories, a big thing or big nice perk that they provide is you get complimentary round-trip private transfers, luxury transfers in a BMW. And then there are certain club-level categories that they add the same thing. Yeah, and that's another no before we go travel tip. So if you want that... Especially now, like right now, you don't want to be in a van with, a bunch of people you don't know. Yeah. They do, like, the transfers we've been on, when we have done a shared transfer, and we have done it during the pandemic, they don't pack the van. I think it was like 6 people max. Right. And it's a pretty big van that could probably hold 14. Yes. They might have 6, in there. But still, that private transfer, we usually try to do the private transfer. Even if it's through Sandals or not, we try to get one. If it's a shorter transfer, then no. No, yeah, of course. That's a good point. Like, if it's past more than 30 minutes, I think that's where I'm like, okay, let's maybe look at a private one. Yeah, and one good thing about Sandals shared transfers is it goes directly to the resort, and it's not going to stop at, other Sandals or other resorts, whereas sometimes if you do just regular shared transfers, they do that, but Sandals does not, so that's nice. Yeah, it's just point A to point B, and we've done the shared transfers with... I think it was Secrets, and it felt like we stopped at every Secrets resort in the planet before we got to the airport. Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. But anyways, so we're really excited to see the new restaurants, how the renovations have come along, how pretty much the finished product is with Montego Bay. Yeah, so there's at this resort 272 rooms in 27 categories. You will find a lot of options for butler accommodations here. 12 restaurants on property, and then another great perk to this resort is 5 minutes down the road, there's Sandals Royal Caribbean, and there are complimentary transfers that run between them every hour. Now, initially, they had stopped that because the Jamaican government wouldn't allow them to do it, but they have
resumed them. I don't believe it's like all night though, but you can go back and forth right now.
Yeah, and check out some of the restaurants at Royal Caribbean. Check out some of the restaurants at Montego Bay.
Yeah,
We've stayed at both. If I'm looking at the two, because I think a lot of people might look at two like, wow, they have resorts right next to each other. That's kind of strange.
Right.
I would say Montego Bay is a little more upbeat,
yes.
a little more lively. That's where you're going to have like more of your late night activities, a little more upbeat vibes.
Yes.
Royal Caribbean's more of total relaxation, very chill.
I think it has a good mix of both.
It has a good mix of both, but
Yeah.
it's more on the chill side of things
Yeah.
than Montego Bay, if you're just comparing it to Montego Bay.
Which Sandals Royal Caribbean actually has recently been renovated as well. A lot of rooms have been renovated there, so we'll definitely go there and check that out too.
For sure. Yeah, we will definitely go check that out.
Now, and then as far as included activities, so the water sports that are available, they've got pretty much all the options because the beach and water at Sandals Montego Bay is really nice and calm. So you have a lot of options: canoeing, kayaking, hobby cat sailing, which are like the miniature catamarans, paddle boards, underwater boats, wakeboarding, kneeboarding, tubing, windsurfing, water skiing, and snorkeling. And then, of course, scuba diving if you're a certified scuba diver. If not, then you just have to take the resort course for $100, and then you can dive when you're there. And then, of course, they have all the land sports, too. Now, one of the biggest things that is very important for you to know about this resort is it is right next to the airport, which I think that that's a great thing because then whenever you leave the airport, it's a 5-minute ride.
Oh, the resort. You are
Mm-hmm.
on the property instantly.
Yes.
It's cool.
So with that being said, though, there is a lot of plane noise because it literally is right next to the runway. You notice it at first, but I mean, really after that, I guess you just get used to it and it just is what it is. And I think it kind of adds to the vibe, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because people, like all the bartenders, like, oh, wave to the plane.
Yeah.
And then there's a plane they're taking off for landing. And I think it's like, I agree with you. At first, you kind of notice it, but then you really just don't notice it. And there's a lot of trees that kind of muffle it, so it doesn't sound like you're on the runway. It just, you hear the plane. You just hear it.
I mean, it's loud.
It's not like a screeching, loud, winding engine.
Right, and
it's
they're
like
not...
It's almost like just a...
Well, it's like a plane taking off.
It's like it's hard to explain.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's loud, but you don't notice it. I mean, at least I don't whenever I'm there after the first day. And then they're not taking off and landing, at all hours of the night. It's just throughout the day.
Yeah, it's just during the day mostly. Yeah, it's never bothered me at all. I thought it was kind of neat.
I actually think it's kind of cool, too, to see them take off like that because planes always fascinate me. But
yeah. I mean,
they scare me, but they fascinate me.
You can literally, I remember... At Montego Bay last time we were there, I would sit there in the pool and you would watch the plane lift off the ground, and you can watch it for
not lift off the ground because the
can't
trees.
see it, yeah, but pretty much you can see it. Going
once
into
it
the sky.
gets right above the trees, then
then you can see it kind of lifting off, and then you can watch it for a while, and you can see where it turns, if it's going left or right, and kind of try to figure out where it's going, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a Delta plane. Or
pretty much, I think they all go left.
Do they? I can't remember.
Yeah, because they're not going south across the island, so.
You never know. Huddle jumpers.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That could be true.
But yeah, one of the things I'm most excited to see too is Butch's Steakhouse, which is named after Gordon Butch.
Yes, so this is a signature steakhouse that they introduced to the brand back in, I think it was 2013. The first one was in Sandals, Grenada, and they do have it. They just built it 2 years ago. It opened. The last time I was there, they were doing the finishing touches on the restaurant, but that and soy opened at this resort, so I'm super excited for that and to see them. Brand new restaurants, and then my favorite restaurant, which I love Butch's. That's probably my favorite. But
Butch's is your favorite. Come on.
I know, but do you remember my other favorite restaurant there?
Yeah, it's the saute one.
Yes, Tokyo Joe's.
Tokyo Joe's, which is good. I like
it's
Tokyo
really good,
Joe's.
yeah.
But you come on. Butch's.
Well, I know it's a
Butch's.
steakhouse. Yeah,
it's and this is a steakhouse that is included with. I mean, it's crazy that it's included because it is just as good as any high-end steakhouse you'd find here in the States. I mean, it is high-end, high-quality meat steaks. I mean, it's your traditional steakhouse, and it is included. You could eat there pretty much as long as they're open. You can get a reservation. You can eat there. It's amazing. So I'm very excited to try that because this steakhouse wasn't there last time we were there.
No.
And soy wasn't there, and I love my sushi, so I'll be crushing the sushi at the sushi bar.
I was going to say there's 12 restaurants, so I don't know how we're going to be able to eat at all of them. But
and we got to check out Royal Caribbean too. I don't know if we're going to eat there, Royal Caribbean. We'll check it out.
Yeah, I definitely want to go check it out. So, but we're staying 4 nights, just a quick little getaway, and I am definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we'll find time to shoot kind of a quote live podcast from Sandals Montego Bay to give our exact feedback on the room we're in, and while we're there, instant kind of early thoughts on how things are going. And then also we're going to learn as much as we can about the new process with testing on site, which I think Sandals and I think a lot of your major chains have reacted pretty well to it. They've reacted pretty well to a lot of the stuff that's been thrown at them. That's just another hurdle, and they're doing pretty well with it. Oh, from what I can tell.
One thing I just thought about that you have not experienced yet?
Ooh, what's that?
You have not experienced their new Latitudes Overwater bars.
Oh, that's right. They have an Overwater bar.
Yes, I have, and you have not experienced that. And I have a feeling we will be watching the sunset there every day.
Ooh, that's going to be very good footage and content.
Yeah, they have Latitudes Overwater bar, really big. The one at South Coast is a little smaller than the one at Montego Bay. But yeah, I just thought about that. That's another thing that you have not experienced that you're going to like.
Ooh. And
another cool little feature of this resort, if you're thinking of a destination wedding, is they actually have a chapel on property.
Well, yeah,
I was going to say you look confused.
That's where our friends got married. They got got married.
Yeah,
in
so
the chapel.
you do have a backup plan if it rains.
And it's a beautiful chapel.
It is. And they actually renovated it since 2015, the last time we were there for a wedding.
Yeah, it's not near the beach. It's kind of on the other side of the property. Very green.
Yeah, it's in the gardens.
A lot of lush gardens around it. Very beautiful. So if you are planning a destination wedding, and you're right, it does happen to rain, you've got that as a phenomenal backup option.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So, but I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Bags are packed. I'm ready to go to dinner tonight, have some good wine, some good food, kick off the trip, get on the plane.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, just some other, one other note before you go, travel tip for this resort, and just really in general when you're traveling, is there are all the restaurants, or not all of them, but there are some that require a reservation, and when we went to Sandals Antigua, pretty much all of the reservations, even the ones that normally did not require a reservation, you had to have one in order to get in, because they're trying to space everybody out for social distancing because of COVID. So please make sure that you get restaurant reservations as soon as you arrive, because you can't book them in advance with Sandals Resorts. It can only be done on property. So make sure that's one of the first things that you do, so you can ensure that you get what you want.
Yeah, and they do that so everyone gets a shot to have something.
Yes.
If you booked it in advance, everyone would book everything up and you wouldn't have a shot. But yeah, that's a great note before you go travel tip, is to do that in advance, especially right now. I would say too, not in advance, right when you show up, right. Do it as soon as you can, and especially try to get your favorite restaurant. So if you want to try the steakhouse, try to get that. Make that a priority.
Yes.
Because having that steakhouse on site adds to the overall experience and value of the resort. And so that would be one that it's a must do. So try to build the rest of your reservations around going to the steakhouse.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as you're a meat eater.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
I love my steaks.
There you go. Yeah, so I think that is a podcast. So do you have a question of the day?
Well, I was going to ask you for trip of the week first, but yeah, I do got question of the day queued up here.
Trip of the week. Let's see. I guess ours.
Well, we can't do that. I know you got clients. You got.
I have a few people that are either in Mexico or headed to Mexico before the new guidelines. So okay. I do have someone that kept their reservation with the new guidelines, so that was actually pretty promising.
Good. Yeah, I think if you've had COVID, you're probably going to keep it, and or if you, I think there's, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think as time goes on, let's just see how this kind of plays out. Yes. So it's hard to comment on. It really is.
No, I agree.
It's so because we just found out.
Yes.
So. All right, you ready for question of the day? Question of the day.
Yes.
Okay, this is a very, very kind of weird one.
Okay.
We're going to go weird on this episode since it's vacation mode here.
All right.
I don't even know. I don't know my response to this. I think I do. Would you rather the aliens that make first contact with the world, would you rather them be robotic or organic?
This is...
So would you rather them have like flesh and blood or just or whatever, or would you rather them be straight robots?
Robots, I guess. This is the most random, dumb question.
robots kind of scare me because if someone sent them here, then they've got powers that we don't have yet. So we could be taking.
I don't know. Let's not spend too much time on this. This is kind of pointless.
Organic's interesting though.
No thanks.
I don't want any aliens making contact, to be honest. I mean, this is kind of this was like, I think it's like on a list of like fun conversation starters. I don't want any aliens coming here. I like what we have. I know there's a lot of people that are big into the alien thing and want, trying to find
I don't think people want that.
Life in other areas.
Yeah.
I would be fine if I found out one day that we're the only planet. I don't think we are.
I was going to say, I don't think we are either.
I don't think we are. I think it's impossible. I think the size of the galaxy that scientists and astronomers think it is, it's impossible. But I'd be fine knowing if they came out and said, hey, we've searched everywhere, and there's a no chance. There's none. There's no other life. We're it. Okay, fine. Great. I'm good with that.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's enough time on that question.
Yeah, that one was a weird one. If you want to ask us a question of the day,
yes, feel free to.
DMs. It can be travel. We used to do travel-related ones. Now we kind of do random ones. But if you have a question of the day around travel, slide to our DMs, email us. All of our contact information is in the show notes below.
And on our website.
And we'll answer anything that is appropriate, of course. We're not going to answer anything that's not appropriate for... like you're listening in the car with your kids. We're not going to answer anything that you wouldn't want to answer on that.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We will report back on Montego Bay in about a week.
Yeah, we'll see you live from Montego Bay probably later this week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you guys. If you haven't given us a review, a 5-star review would be great. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and we will see you next time.
Catch you next time.